Hey, what's up everybody? It's me, Jordan, and this time I'm back with a bit of a review video. I'm kind of just showing you the unboxing of this new Copic drawing pen, which I'm going to be reviewing. And Copic Craft, the guys who I buy all my Copics from, they asked me if I wanted to do a review of this new drawing pen that they've got, and I said yeah, sure, because I wanted to try it out anyway. I'd seen some other artists use it and they liked it, so I thought I'd give it a shot. I love the little package they sent it to me in. I've got a bunch of Kit Kats from them. I haven't tried all of them yet. A little bit scared. I haven't had that black one. I don't know if it's like coffee or something, but... So I'm just kind of cracking open the pen. It kind of comes in like this really tight wrapper, which was a little bit of a struggle to get off. I've been using this pen a bit. I'm going to show you guys a little bit of me inking with it, because I don't really do many inking videos, just because I get really close to the paper and it's hard to film, so it's just a little bit difficult. But I do my best in this video. I just show you a little bit of me using this new pen. So basically this new pen comes with like a bit of a cartridge, so you can refill it, I guess. Just chuck a new cartridge in at the back. You kind of just have to stab it on in the back, and then you'll see it kind of cracks open and the ink starts kind of leaking into the main chamber. It kind of took me a little while to kind of figure out what was going on. You kind of need to give it a little bit of a shake as well, and just kind of hold it vertically and just let it kind of drain down. So you kind of see the inks kind of seeping through into the main chamber bit, and it doesn't work until it's kind of like fully soaked up. So you might need to give it a little bit of a shake and just give it a bit of time in the vertical position, and then it kind of all goes through like you see here, and then the ink comes out. So a few different things I want to talk about. This is a new fan art drawing I'm working on. Someone requested it from me on my YouTube channel, so I'm just doing a little bit of line work with this. The really cool thing about this pen, okay, there's a few things I want to talk about. First off, I will say I do really like this pen. It's really cool. It feels really different from what I'm used to, and it definitely took me a little while to get used to it, because it feels a little bit scratchier because it's got like the kind of like the calligraphy style nib. Obviously it's not the flat nib like calligraphy, but it's got the completely different nib to, say, like the Copic multi-liners, which I normally use. So it's got a bit of a scratchier feel, but once you get used to it, it actually feels really cool. You've got like a lot of control over it, and I find it actually is easier to do like flowing strokes than using the Copic multi-liner, which is like the 0.03, which is the finest they do. I find it's easier to get flowing lines with this, really fine, than the other multi-liner. These pens can be a little bit temperamental, so I was using it and it was all good for a while, and then it's kind of started stuffing up and I was thinking, oh, this isn't so good. It's kind of just being a little bit scratchy, and it was because the ink wasn't really flowing through it better. So what I do now, I pretty much store it, when I'm not using it, I store it vertically with the nib facing down, just to make sure like the ink's always kind of flowing down and getting to the nib properly. As soon as I started storing my pen like this, I didn't have any other problems, so it seemed to fix that. And also at one stage I kind of just had to give it a bit of a shake and actually even take off the back cartridge and like blow down the gap. It's kind of hard to explain, but that seemed to help as well, just to kind of push the ink through, because it just wasn't feeding properly. So that's just something you might need to kind of just keep in mind if your pen kind of stops working so well. But apart from that, like once it started working, I really like it. And I won't say it replaces the other multi-liners, but it's definitely a worthy addition, because it does really fine details and it can do some really nice smooth lines. But for doing some of the thicker lines, where you kind of need to build up the line, it can be pretty traumatic on the paper if you're not careful. So it's a good idea to probably still use the other markers, some of the thicker multi-liners, to do some of the thicker lines, because this, like, you can just overwork the paper if you're trying to get really thick lines if you're not careful, depending on what paper you use as well. And I find, like, yeah, if you overwork a certain area, the ink stops feeding as well. So that's just something to keep in mind. But yeah, it's definitely really good. I'm not sure if it's for everyone, just because it's got a really kind of different feel to it. And for some newer artists, they might find that a little bit intimidating, just the kind of the feel of the pen. It's kind of hard to describe, but it's definitely worth checking out. I do really like it, and I I've kind of started to use this a lot more for my inking. I think it gives it like a really interesting look as well. It's kind of, the best way for me to describe it is it gives it more of a kind of traditional like manga look, like what you see in the manga books. Although like obviously it depends like what style you want to draw, but it's kind of almost got like a little bit of a scratchy look to it, and you can really see the kind of strokes and stuff, and I think that looks really cool. So I kind of tried to embrace that with this drawing. I didn't want it looking like all the lines looking the same thickness and having the lines as thick as I did in some of my other drawings. So I kind of wanted like a bit of a softer look, but at the same time having some really kind of like jagged looking line work, I guess. Kind of hard to describe, but I think this pen definitely really helped with that. So the Copic drawing pens come in a couple different colours as well. I know they come in a sepia and they come in red. I'm not sure if they come in any other colours. So if you want to do line work in different colours, you could check them out. I mainly just use the black, so I think it just kind of just more well-rounded. But if you want to check out any of those markers, go find Copic Craft on their Facebook page. I think you get 8% off if you buy through their Facebook page instead of eBay. So that's probably worth doing. But anyway, buy them wherever you want. They're really good markers. And I think once you get used to it, it's a really nice feeling pen. I just want to quickly add that I've never used a G pen or any of the like dipping pens for like my artwork. I've used those type of pens before for like calligraphy and that kind of thing, but not for actually drawing artworks. So the G pen seems to be pretty popular for a lot more kind of traditional manga artists, I guess. And I kind of imagine this pen, the Copic drawing pen, is kind of like in between using like a multi-liner and then a dipping pen. It's just a lot more convenient than having to keep dipping the pen in ink. But then it just kind of comes down to personal preference. So my kind of final thoughts about this pen is that it's just a really solid pen for lining, and it's probably not going to replace any of your other lining pens that you might like. You're not just going to chuck them out and just use this, but it's definitely a worthy addition to any of your collection of lining pens. So I'm definitely going to be using this pen a lot more and just kind of getting used to it. I've started doing a lot of my line work with this pen predominantly, and then using the other multi-liners as like backup, I guess, to do some of the thicker lines and stuff. But I'm really enjoying it. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I'll catch you guys next week for my next drawing video, and I'll see you then.